Hi guys, and welcome back to another modeling tutorial in 3ds Max. My name is Alex, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can model this kind of knife, sword, weapon, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to create a blade, and the main thing is going to be to show you how you can create these nice looking circular shapes and these silhouettes with this nice transition of hard edges. And then we're going to sculpt the grip, and I'm going to show you some tips on creating these indentions that look like they are a part of the grip but are in reality not, but Max shows them as they are. And then I'm going to emphasize the need of the additional loops, edge loops, to create a smooth transition between textures when applying Turbo Smooth modifier, because as we can see here I have a Turbo Smooth modifier with 2 iterations, isolate and display turned on, and if I apply a different material, a checkerboard, we can see there are almost no deformation about the edge of the texture. So if I isolate this blade, let me show you what I mean. On this edge I didn't apply additional swift loops, so you can see the stretching of the texture, because before we apply Turbo Smooth modifier everything looks okay, and then afterwards when you apply it we see this deformation, and it can be a problem if you are trying to render out a high definition looking model and you apply some kind of smoothing modifier like Turbo Smooth, and your texture gets all messed up. So we're going to look into this, and let's just start. Here is the basic image I'm going to be using for reference. I'm going to post a link in the description of this video so you can check that out and download it and try it out for yourself. And this was found on the Pinterest, so I don't really know the author of this image, so I cannot really give any credits for that. But how you can set up this kind of reference image you can look up in my other tutorial. But before we go into sculpting, let me just invite you to check out the rest of my videos on my YouTube channel. Here are the 3 videos that can be used in conjunction with this video, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel. Check out the Patreon site. I appreciate any comment and any thumbs up, and I would appreciate also if you share this video afterwards. So let's start. In the front view, pressing F on the keyboard, go to create plane, and then just draw out plane. Just right click on these arrows to get one length segment and one width segment, and then just I just normally use blue color because the edges can be easily seen. And now just double right click on it and convert to editable poly. Alt X on the keyboard to make it transparent so you can see the underneath laying reference image, and I'm going to just add some additional swift loops. You can do this afterwards, but it is always wise to just create some of these edges before you start moving them around. So then just press 1 on the keyboard and realign these vertices according to the reference image. I'm going to skip ahead, but I'm just trying to show you the steps needed to get this kind of model created. So I'm going to align this on the edge and these parts on this line. So I realign the edges, the vertices, according to the reference image, and now I'm going to create a hole. So back to create, plane, and just start in the middle of the circle and draw it out, and then just press Ctrl so it creates a perfect square. And then just make sure you have 2 length and 2 width segments, and let's use a blue color, and then just double right click on it and convert it to editable poly. Press 4 on the keyboard or go here to polygon selection, Ctrl A to select everything, and under polygons hold shift and click on inset, and inset it twice by pressing apply and continue once, and then click on OK. Press 2 on the keyboard or go to edge selection, select one of these inside looking laying edges, and then just hold shift and so it make a loop selection, and under loops click on loop tools and this window will pop up, and then just while having these edges selected click on relax and circle, and maybe Alt X to see underneath laying reference image, R on the keyboard to resize this hole, 4 on the keyboard or go to polygon selection and grow it 1 time. So click on grow 1 time and then just delete by pressing delete on the keyboard, and you have your perfect looking hole created. So I made another video about creating perfect holes in 3ds Max, so you can check that out if you want, but let us continue. Press 1 on the keyboard to go to vertex selection, select a vertex, W to make a move tool selected, and then just press S on the keyboard or go up here to turn on snap tool, and if you right click on it this window will pop up, and under snap make sure you have vertex ticked on. And that means it's going to snap to the vertex, to the nearest vertex. So you can also press F4 on the keyboard so a wireframe of all the models is shown, so you can easily see where the vertices are. And then just press S to go out of the snap mode and maybe just rearrange some of these points so it's going to look more like it does on the reference image. So then we are going to attach these 2 models together. Just go down, go out of the vertex selection and go down to attach, click on it and click on the blade. Now these 2 objects are one object, and click here on this plus sign, and under X view select overlapping vertices, and this text will pop up, and press 1 on the keyboard. Just click on click here to update if it doesn't show any overlapping vertices, because they should be. As we can see here we have 6 overlapping vertices and they are shown in the green color. So go press 1 on the keyboard or go to vertex selection and just select these vertices by holding Control, and then weld them together by pressing weld. Now non-applicable overlapping vertices are shown, so that means we have no overlapping vertices anymore. So if you apply a Turbo Smooth modifier, you can see this is now welded together. Now we are going to do the same for the bottom part, so go to create plane and just imagine that here is the circle, and so this is the center of the circle, and then just draw it out again and hold Control to create a perfect square. Make sure you have 2 length and width segments. Right click on it twice to convert it to editable poly. 4 on the keyboard, Control A, and again hold shift and click on inset and inset it a little bit, make it apply and continue, and press OK. And then just 2 on the keyboard, select the edge, hold shift, select another one so the loop is selected, click on relax, circle, R on the keyboard, Alt X, and just resize this hole 4 on the keyboard, grow it one time and delete it by pressing delete on the keyboard. Then just select this bottom part and delete it because we don't need it, and then just select this, maybe pull down everything a little bit and select these vertices and push them down. And as you can see, it's kind of crowded here, so I'm going to move a little bit this bottom part, and then just press S on the keyboard and to turn the snap tool on, and 1 on the keyboard, and just select one vertex and move it so it snaps to the nearest one. So we want to weld these points afterwards together, so that's why I'm using the snap again. Pressing S again to go to the snap mode, and then just maybe press 2 on the keyboard, select this edge, hold Control and select another one, hold Shift and move it down and let everything go, and then again Shift and move down and let everything go, and one more time, and just press 1 S and just again realign these vertices according to this wireframe of the rest of the model. Press S again to go out of the snapping mode and just rearrange these vertices so they are conforming to the underneath laying reference image. So it's, you can see in this stage it's all about rearranging the vertices so it looks like the model that is shown in the reference image. And we're going to do another extrusion by holding Shift and selecting these two edges, and then just select this edge and hold Control and this edge, and under edges click on bridge, and then swift loop, and then just apply some additional loops and maybe push them down, up, push them around a little bit. And it's always wise to make sure you are not getting something like this, so these edges are going in a crazy way. So it's really nice to have a decent representation of these vertices and edges, so it afterwards doesn't make any major problems. It's going to create some problems as we will see afterwards, but they are manageable if we have the vertices placed in a suitable manner. So just move this out a little bit, and I'm looking for a model that has only those vertices created that are really needed. Oh, I didn't weld these two together yet, so go to attach again and click rest of the model, and then as you can see here, click on update. You can see 12 vertices are overlapping and they are showing on the green color. Press 1 on the keyboard and just hold Control while selecting this green vertices, and then just weld them together. And as you can see here, these two vertices were too far apart to be noticed as overlapping, so what we can do here is just right click and target weld and select, click on first one and then click on the one that we want to weld it to. So this is another way how you can weld points together by using target weld. So as said before, you can do a swift loop afterwards. So as you can see here, this vertex is not attached to anything, so we're going to again right click, target weld and weld it together. Now I'm going to show you how you can create the holes that are on the bottom of this plate, but let me just first realign these vertices. So we're going to create these holes, and it's going to be the same way as we did the first two holes. Just create, plane, and then just start somewhere like here, and then just again hold Control to make a perfect square. Two length and width segments, make a bluish color so the edges are more easily seen. Alt X on the keyboard to go to transparency mode, and then just double right click on it and convert it to editable poly. And now we're going to go to the edge selection by pressing 2 on the keyboard, or go here to edge selection, select these 3 edges and hold Alt and deselect this one, hold Shift and just drag out to the middle of the next circle, not to the end, to the middle, and then press E to go to rotation mode and just rotate it a little bit, and then just W on again and move it to the side of to the edge of this circle hole. So this way we're going to create all the shapes for every hole. So I'm going to pause this video and we are going to see us in a second. So now that we have everything for the created, this is the base mesh for these holes to be created. Just go 4 on the keyboard and make sure you have nothing else but select object tool selected, and just hold Control and select 4 of these polygons, and then again polygon, hold Shift, inset, make sure you don't inset it too much, apply and continue once, OK, 2 on the keyboard, select an edge, hold Shift and select another one so the loop is created, relax, circle, R on the keyboard to resize it if needed, 4 on the keyboard, or go to here to polygon selection, grow it 1 time and delete it. And this is going to be these are going to be the steps that are needed for all the holes to be created, and this is really time consuming, but it is needed. So you can also press E on the keyboard and rotate it a little bit if you need it, and just grow it 1 time and delete it. So I'm going to pause this video again and see you in a second. And now we have all the holes created, and before we delete the bottom part, we are going to have to add additional swift loop to every hole. So just click on swift loop, then just apply a swift loop around every hole, and go to press 1 on the keyboard so every vertex of this newly created loop is selected. Hold, press Shift X on the keyboard or click here on constraint to edge, so the vertices are going to move according to the already created edges. Press R on the keyboard twice if needed, and then just push it down until they are covered with the original one. Let go of the mouse button and then just push them out a little bit. This way the swift loop is more unique than, as you can see here, this vertex is kind of more far out than this one, and if we push it in and then let go and then push everything out again, you can see this is more uniform. And again, to do for all the edges, it's going to take some time, so I'm going to pause the video again. And now that we have all the additional edge loops created, we can go to polygon selection by pressing 4 on the keyboard to go to here to polygon, and then just select the bottom parts of this created holes created by holding Control and just selecting these bottom parts. And as you may figure it out already, we're going to delete it. Sometimes you just have to delete something. And now we're going to do additional edge loops to these parts here. So again, swift loop and swift loop, and some of them are going to be really okay, and some of them are going to be a little bit distorted, but For this kind of model it doesn't really matter, because this is going to be a blade, and sometimes, or rather say, it's not really ordinary to have this kind of blade perfectly created, like with perfectly straight lines all around the blade. So these kind of deformed vertices are going to add some realism to your model. So next thing I'm going to do, press 2 on the keyboard and just select these edges, hold Alt to deselect as shown here, and then just Shift. Make sure you have constraint to none selected, and then just Shift and drag it down, and then just let go of everything, and we're going to attach this object to the rest of the blade. So go down to attach and click on the object that we already created. Now press 1 and S again to snap these vertices together. But first of all, we're going to weld some vertices together, and we are going to target weld, and let me just weld these two together, these two together. Sometimes this will happen, so the polygon is looking over the edge of the model, which is not what we want to see, but for now it's okay, because we're going to fix this afterwards. So just target weld some these middle points together, so we don't have so many vertices in our model. So because we are looking into creating a model that really has only the vertices that are really needed to show the silhouette of the model, and we can then afterwards use this model for a mid or low poly game asset, for example. And it's really not so important how many vertices, how many edges are going out of this single vertex, because these parts of the model are not going to be animated and they're going to be static, so we don't need to follow the rules that normally apply to this these parts. So just weld the edge together, and as you can see here, we can weld some of these points already together, but we're going to have to apply additional swift loops to the blade, so we can get all the points welded together. And as you will see, this overlapping issue is going away when we weld these points together, because they are pushed up a little bit, and it's really all that is needed to get rid of this overlapping issue. So now we are going to apply additional swift loops for all the remaining vertices. So we have 3 here, 1 here, 1 here, and maybe just make sure you don't overstretch them. So the edges don't overlap each other, because that would also create some problems when applying. As you can see here, these edges are really close together, which I don't want to see, so just move it down if you need to, and then just again target weld it together, well, this way. because we already have this edge aligned to the underneath laying image. So swift loop, let's just see where it ends. 1, and then just afterwards press 2 on the keyboard to go to edge selection and deselect by holding Alt these ones, and then just control backspace to delete the rest. And we're going to go to vertex and target weld and weld these points together, because we don't need any of these additional points around here. So and do the same again for this one. 2 on the keyboard and deselect, and you don't even have to deselect because here is already the end of this part, and 1, 2, 3, 4 exactly what we want. We have 4-sided polygon, and we are going to target weld these points together. And before, I forgot to mention that we have to apply a swift loop around all these edges, or around all these holes. So for this hole it's really simple, just press swift loop and then just R again, Shift X to make it constrained to edge, and then just push it inwards and then just again outwards just a little bit, just as we did before. Let me see if this, yeah, this is overlapping, so make sure these points are not overlapping each other. And we have to do the same for this bottom part, but I'm just, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to move this down a little bit. Come on. Oh, I forgot to turn off constraint to edge. So now swift loop and then just swift loop it, but as you can see here it created some loops that we don't want, so go press 2 on the keyboard and again hold Alt and deselect these edges, and again control backspace to delete the rest of them. And swift loop, let me see, yeah, this is going to work. So, and cut across, pressing S, and by target welding these two together and these two together, it's going to work anyway. But you can go in and move around some vertices if you want, just to make sure they are aligned properly. But this is really essential for the rest of the model, so I'm going to apply an additional 2 swift loops. Come on, additional 2 swift loops here, and now I'm going to, let's see, already apply a shell modifier, because now we have everything created and is stitched together. If we apply turbo smooth modifier and as lighting display, perspective view, and as you can see we have a really nice looking silhouette of our blade, and these edges are really sharp and there are no distortions. And now we just need to add some width to this object, so I'm going to apply a shell modifier to it, and you should check if you have any funny distortions like here. As you can see, here is a problem, but you can always fix that by going back, because this happens when edges are overlapping each other or some vertices are not properly welded together. But let me just see what happened here. Looks like it looks like this this doesn't suit. As you can see, you just have to move around a little bit these edges and the shell modifier will work properly. So then just go to shell and collapse to, and then right click again and convert to editable poly. And now we are going to go to front view. Well, we have some issue here, and this is caused because these two polygons are in a different smoothing group. So just select these polygons that are looking funny and then just delete clear all on the smoothing group. It's not really an issue, but it looks funny if you don't fix it. So go to front view again, press 1 on the keyboard, make sure you have constraint to edge turned on, and just move apart a little bit this edge, these vertices on the bottom part of the blade, because we're going to weld these vertices together, but we don't want these vertices to be welded together. So let me just show you what I mean. Just select all these vertices on the edge, because we don't have a sharp knife now. We only have some depth, as you can see here. But before we are going to weld this together, we could go to edge selection, select this edge, hold shift and select a swift loop, a loop around everything, and then just under loops hold shift and click on connect, make 2 segments and push them to the side, as you can see here. So it's going to keep these edges sharp again. Select this loop and then just do the same for this bottom part. Loop, come on, shift connect and OK. And if we apply Turbo Smooth modifier now, we can see where the sharp edges are created, because we added additional edge loops, and this really looks nice. No obvious problems are seen. Yeah, sometimes here can cause some stretching or something, as you can see if we go really close, but you can fix this by going back in and just move around some of the vertices as I shown before, and some of these distortions will go away. So go back to Turbo Smooth and delete it and press 1 on the keyboard, and because we have already selected these vertices, we're going to weld them together. Just go down to weld and click on settings, and then just push this value until everything snaps together, but make sure nothing like this happens. You don't want to see this, so go back a couple of steps. You want to keep these points apart. That's why we moved them earlier. So then press OK, and as you can see, as before, some polygons are really looking funny. So we're going to just select these polygons and go down to smoothing groups and clear all, and this should fix this problem. Yeah. And now if we apply Turbo Smooth modifier, some deformations will occur because we are lacking one of these. As you can see, it ate away the edge, so we have to apply additional swift loop on this side. But if we turn it around, it also looks like it created it on the back side, but in reality it didn't, because if you go close enough you can see it's missing. So just create a swift loop over here and go to vertex selection, and then just cut, press S to snap, and just snap, just cut over so it's so you just select and press Z to quickly zoom in, and then again cut, and because we have snap turned on, it really quickly snapped to the vertex that I want to weld together, or cut over. So you can right click on this green and untick overlapping vertices to get rid of it, and apply a turbo smooth modifier with 2 iteration isolate display, and let me see what happened. We get everything that we wanted from this blade. Sometimes this curve looks kind of funny, but you can easily fix this by going back to editable poly and turn on show end result, and press 1 on the keyboard to go to vertex selection, and then just move it around a little bit so it's more smooth. And you can also press Alt X if you want to realign it to the underneath laying image, reference image. So now we are going to create the grip, and go to create box and just draw out the box. Right click on the canvas to go out of the creation mode, T on the keyboard to go to top view, and press effect pivot only, center to object, and then go out of the effect pivot only and Alt A, or go here to align, and then just click on the blade and make sure you have Y position only turned on, and click on center and OK. This way our basic grip is aligned to the object. You can select the blade and Alt X to make it invisible, transparent, and then just go back to grip and convert it to editable poly, and again just make some additional swift loops as we did before, so we can more easily realign these vertices by pressing 1 on the keyboard and just realign them according to the reference image. And you can also add some additional vertices afterwards, and let's just say 10 loop, and you can hold shift and chamfer it, push it aside a little bit, make two segments, and press OK, 1 on the keyboard, and then just move these parts so the whole is easily seen. So push this out a little bit and push this in, but not too far because it has to cover these parts of the blade. So again, this is all about rearranging the vertices according to the reference image. And now if we go to perspective view and rotate it a little bit, yeah, it looks nice. 2 on the keyboard to go to edge selection, and then just hold Control and then Shift and Control and Shift so the loop is created, and then just again I'm holding Control and then Shift and clicking to select all these vertices, and then chamfer it again by holding Shift. Make sure you have only one edge segment selected, and if you go on the top view you can see how far this Y is to go. so it doesn't go into the blade. And then press OK, and if we apply a Turbo Smooth modifier now, we can see it smoothed out all the edges that we want to keep. So we want to keep this edge sharp and this transition and this transition. So we're going to back to the model. Let me again select a bluish color and then select this edge, hold shift to create a loop around, and do the same on the other side. Hold shift and connect two segments, push them to the side. You can also do this for the center part, although I don't think it's going to be, yeah, it's going to need it. And then we're going to add additional swift loop here to keep this edge and underneath here, and we're going to need it here. So let's just go to front view, and here we go. This should be enough to keep our edges clean and sharp. As you can see, we could do additional edge loops, but it's not really needed because the wood is not supposed to be really sharp, because it's a grip, and you know, if you take a grip of the wood, it starts to get chamfered. So you can go back in and maybe add additional lines here. Maybe let's make 3 of them. This is really not needed, but just if you want to add some bump on the top and maybe on the bottom, you can do this by adding some additional lines. So this looks really okay. Yep, this looks really okay. Yeah, this edge is really not sharp, so we're going to add additional swift loop over here, and this should fix it. Yep, here we have our edge. And this is it about creating the wooden grip. And let me just show you how you can create an indentation like I showed before. Sphere. And then we're going to go to left view and push it out just a little bit. 4 on the keyboard. Or first of all, convert edit or poly. 4 on the keyboard, select the half of it, delete it, and press R on the keyboard and squish it together, but make sure you have this selected. Squish it together until it's not touching the back plate, and go to front view, press 3 on the keyboard to go to add selection, and then just hold shift and push it out a little bit. And this is how you can create this kind of bolt, or however you want to call it. Just have to resize it. Come on. And as you can see, because these two objects are in the same color, it really looks they are one object, and this is going inwards. This is a visual trick that can be created in 3ds Max, but you can go to ZBrush and sculpt this indentions there. Control A and flip it, flip it, flip it, flip it, so it's pointing outwards, and now it goes. Yeah, the polygons should be facing towards yourself, or that you won't see where the swift loop is going to be created. So you can add some indentions and additional indentions. Let me just show you now that I'm in the zone. And you can create some additional indentions. Bevel, really small one, minus 0.5, and ziggy, something like this. And let me see what happens. Yeah, you can see it looks like it's additional edge around, and you can just play around with this kind of technique to get some interesting look. So now we will apply a UV modifier and unwrap it. So we're going to start with the blade, Alt Q on the keyboard to isolate it, and we're going to delete Turbo Smooth modifier, attach unwrap UV modifier, and then press 3 on the keyboard or go to polygon, Control A to select all the polygons, and here under edit UVs select Y and click on quick planar map, then open UV editor, and it should look something like this. And now we are going to go back to the canvas view, and we're going to turn on this. What is this? Select by planar angle, and we're going to type in 45, and we're just going to click here. Do not click here or it won't work. Just click here, and then as you can see only the half of it is selected, which is exactly what I want. So Control B to break apart and rotate it, and do the same with the other side. Control B, and now as you can see these parts remain. So now you could go in and overlap these two parts because they are the same. So whenever you would apply a texture, it would be applied to the both sides the same. The quickest way to align to exactly the same parts is just to select all the vertices by clicking here, select by element UV toggle, and select vertex, and turn on snap, and then just snap think. As you can see, they are overlapping perfectly. But for this tutorial I'm not going to do that because I like to have blades in a different kind of matter textured. So going back, we're going to detach some of these parts. If you select something you don't want, just hold Alt and deselect it, and if you want to select something more, hold Control and then just Control B to detach it, and then go here to reshape elements on relax custom, and click and hold it, and then just select this setting, and then just relax by edge angles, start to relax, and while it's relaxing just switch to face angles and stop relaxing. And sometimes some vertices are going to be overlapping like here, so you should always check them and do appropriate corrections if needed. Sometimes this can happen with the relax, but it's easily fixable, so no biggie. Then we're going to select the top, and the same Control B, and then just edge angle, start relax, and while it's relaxing switch to relax by face angles and stop it, and then again just rearrange this pointy vertices, so they look as they should. And this green line should always be on the outside, so something like this. This is the tip of the blade, like here, so it's not going to be really visible, but just to make sure you know how to fix this if you encounter this kind of problem. So then go to edge selection and select this one of these edges, and then just click here on loop UV, Control B to create a seam, although it's not seen here. Just select everything and just relax by angles, and as you can see it really relaxed it perfectly. Then we're going to do the same on the other part, so we're going to click here, loop, Control B, and then just create another one, because I already tried this with one seam and it didn't really relax it as I wanted. So I created another seam here, Control B, and then just go to polygon selection and select by element UV toggle turned on, and select relax by edges and switch to angles, stop relaxing, do the same for the other part, and then just select edges and deselect these ones, and then just stitch it together. So now it's as it should be. So then just select what's left, and again by edge angles start to relax, and then just face angles. This is the inner part of the back, so this is really not so important, but it should be unwrapped as it is here. So you can turn this off, and let us just move this to the side, and then right click on it and collapse to, and now this UV map is merged into this object. So go out of the isolate mode and select grip, Alt Q on the keyboard to isolate it, delete on the turbo smooth modifier, and as before unwrap UV modifier applied, 3 on the keyboard, Control A, select Y axis and quick planner map, open UV editor, and this is what we get. Again, turn on this angle selection. Well, 45 it's going to be too much, so I'm going to diminish this by 215, and this is now, maybe we should just grow it here. Yep. One more time. Okay, and now we're going to select this upper part and the bottom part, but not the sides. Exactly what I want. Control B and move it to the side, and then just select both of them, and again click and press and select this, and by edge angles, and it's going to distort one. It's going to be distorted really harsh, but you just have to wait a second until it do its magic. Rotate, relax, and then just yeah, this looks really what I'm looking for. And face angles, just to make sure, and then sometimes you have to add an additional seam like here, because it's going to be stretched otherwise. So we're going to add seam here, Control B, and then just select it and start relaxing. And as you can see, it pushed it apart a little bit. So and if you want to check if your UV map is okay, then just press M on and come on, go out of the press M on the keyboard to open up a material editor and select one of these empty materials and click on here on diffuse on none and select checker, and then just maybe type in 20 by 20 and go up and show shaded on the selected object, and then just apply it to the selected object. And as you can see, it really looks okay. Let me just yeah, there are no, you should make sure that these quads are not stretched in any way. Here is the seam, but it's not going to cause a lot of trouble because it has to be somewhere, you know. we could also maybe stitch them together. Let's try this one and open UV editor and maybe just select this edge and loop it, and let's see, attach it, and then just by faces, or it's going to make a mess. Yeah, it attach them really look really good. So now we got rid of a seam on the back side, which is nice. And now we just go out of the isolate mode and collapse to, and then just we're going to attach these two parts together. And now we're going to apply unwrap UV modifier again and open it up, and as we can see, both of the parts are in the same UV map. We just have to select everything now and click here on pack custom with rescale turned on, and now these parts are rescaled proportional to the size of the object in the scene. So you can just rotate it and reposition these parts so they use the space that they need. So you can see this is going to be one map, and we could add something more in this UV map, no problem, or maybe just resize this by holding Control so it's uniformal. So you can then afterwards in Photoshop or some other texturing program, you can texture it more easily because they are a little bit larger than before. So just reposition it so it's all in this square. Okay, it's not perfect, but you get the picture. So then you can go up to, you should go up to Tools, Render UV Template, and select the size of the map you're going to work on, 248 or 1024 or 512, and then just show overlap turned off, and I will also turn off seam edges, and then just render UV, and it's going to render the map. And you should then save image and save it as a TIFF, and UV map, save it as 8-bit color, and then just close it down and close everything down, and then just right click on it and collapse to. This way this newly created map is merged with the object. But you can now press 5 on the keyboard, I think, yeah, or go here to element selection and select just the blade or the grip, and then just detach it and name it. And now you have, if you check the UV map, these two are separate objects, so you can explode them in the game or something if you want. But if you apply a unwrap UV modifier and open it up, you can see it kept the information of the position of the UVs that we created, that we just created. So this was UV unwrapping, and you could do low poly version of this object, because now we have some edges that are really not needed in a low poly version. So I'm just going to apply a default material to this, and as you can see here, these edges are just really needed for after when we apply a tube smooth modifier. So we can get rid of them pressing 2 on the keyboard, selecting them, and these two also, and then just loop them, and then control backspace to delete them. Let me see. Yeah, it did what it should. So this is again the issue with the same smoothing groups applied to both of the both parts of the blade, and then just go in and select this one, loop, control backspace. Control backspace is used so you delete the edge and the vertices. Control backspace, and as you can see here, we have to do some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. We have to target weld these two together. Well, it left no, this is on the underside. This is on the other side. No, come on. 2. Bam. I'm just holding control and then shift to select it, and these smoothing groups are really getting on my nerves. So 2 on the keyboard, loop it, bam, control backspace, get rid of it, and then there are these parts. Well, this is going to take some time, so I'm going to pause this video. So I just deleted these parts, and we're going to delete these two. Hold control, select both of them, loop, and control backspace, and now I think we have got rid of no, here are the 2 more, and delete them, and now we have, and on the other side also, well, loop it, whoopsie, just one. Now we have all the unnecessary edges deleted, and if we go out of the, let me just apply basic material to both of the objects. And now I'm going to go under here under utilities and polygon counter, or go here to more and then just find polygon counter. it's not here. And now we're going to select this blade and apply a turbo smooth modifier to it with 2 iteration isol and display, and as you can see it's almost 50,000 polygons, triangles large. And if we select the low poly version, it's 836. And because in the games you can watch this from the far, and if we it's seen here because they are not in the same smoothing group. So you can do the same with the grip to get rid of all unnecessary edge loops and get the low poly version of this object. Just make sure you are selecting the right edges, so when you delete them you don't mess up the silhouette of the object, or the UV maps won't work properly. So going back, here is the low poly version, and then just again utilities, polygon selection, and the low poly version is 272 triangles large. And if we apply turbo smooth modifier to the high poly version, yeah, it's 12,000 triangles. So you can also go in and just apply the same smoothing groups for the parts you want to have no jaggies in. Let me just see. Just apply, let's say 9, and make sure you apply different polygons to the different parts of the object. Whoopsie. And so the edges stay sharp, and you can also use by angle. Let me see, 15. Let's see if it's going to work. Yep. Bam. A quick selection, and then just maybe, what is this? Clear all 17. 17 is for sure not. As you can see, they look a lot more uniform, but we have to apply different for this one. Whoopsie. Oopsie daisy. These bottom parts are also have to be in a same smoothing group, and now it should look okay. Yeah, the low poly version is now a lot smoother than before. It's not like the high poly version, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So we kept this nice looking edge, and also here on the high poly version. And if we apply an unwrap UV modifier and open it, you can see it's still there, although it has less edges, but it's still there. And because we kept the silhouette the same, the texture is going to be applied in the same places as on the high poly version.